AITA for leaving my wife on our dream trip after she chose a stranger over me. My name is Brian. I am 42 years old, and I work as a maintenance supervisor at an avocado packing plant in the Central Valley of California. It is not a glamorous job, but it provides for the house we are paying off. It provides for my son Tyler's high school. It provides for my daughter Samantha's braces, and it provided, against all odds, for this trip. I had saved dollar by dollar for years in a bank account that Michelle did not even know about. When I saved enough, I took the 2 printed copies of the itinerary, put them in an envelope with a slightly crooked red bow, and gave it to her at dinner one Friday. She cried, hugged me, and told me, "I love you, my love," as if we were 20 years old again. And I, like a fool, believed that with that I had recovered something I had not even realized I was losing. The swimsuit appeared on the second day. I was on the balcony having a coffee, watching how the sun hit the water, when she came out of the bathroom and stood in the doorway posing. It was a tiny, coral-colored bikini with those thin little ties that look like they cannot even withstand a single movement. "And that?" I asked, trying not to sound weird. She spun on her heels like a cheap runway model. "Do you like it?" "I bought it last week." Surprise. Michelle had never worn anything like that in 15 years, not even on our honeymoon. She was a country woman like me, raised in the Central Valley, used to dressing to avoid drawing attention. Seeing her like that suddenly felt as if someone had swapped the person I knew for a version who learned to flirt by watching soap operas. "It is different," I said. "Different is your word for I do not like it, Brian. I know you." "I did not say that. I said different. We are at the beach. I guess it is fine." "You guess?" she repeated, grabbing her phone and walking toward the door without looking back at me. "I am going to save a lounge chair." That was the first pang, not the one from the swimsuit, the one from the "you guess," that way of throwing my own words back at me as if I were the problem. We had spent years speaking to each other with care, with respect, and suddenly she was talking to me as if I were a nuisance on her vacation. The one who paid for the vacation. I went down about 20 minutes later. I found her on a lounge chair by the pool, with her eyes closed and a smile that was not for me. Near her, kneeling on the artificial sand at the edge, was a guy no older than 25 with sunburnt skin, a resort shirt, and a name tag that read Cody. Water activities. He had a bottle of tanning lotion in his hands. And his hands. Oh, brother, his hands were not on my wife's shoulders. They were lower, on her lower back, moving slowly as if they had permission. I stood there. I did not yell. I did not run. I stood there watching to see if she would open her eyes and realize that something was wrong. She did not open her eyes. She smiled. I cleared my throat. The guy looked up immediately with a trained hotel smile. "How is it going, boss?" "Just helping the lady with the sunblock. The sun is really strong. My wife has hands," I told him in the calmest voice I could muster. "And so do I." Michelle opened her eyes slowly, as if I had interrupted her in the middle of a very expensive massage. "Brian, do not make a scene. Cody was just being nice." "Cody is going to go be nice somewhere else," I said without taking my eyes off him. Cody stood up, still wearing that fake smile, and walked away toward the pool bar. Michelle let out a long sigh, like someone who has to explain something to a stubborn child. "Seriously, are you going to make a drama?" "I was asleep when he got here." I was smiling because it tickled, not because I liked it. "Michelle, I am not an idiot." She grabbed her phone instead of answering me. And that, let me tell you, that is something I learned that week. When someone grabs their phone in the middle of an uncomfortable conversation, it is not to calm down, it is to flee without leaving the chair. That same night, at the buffet dinner, I tried to talk to her seriously. I told her I understood we were on vacation, that I understood she wanted to relax, but that I did not like a stranger touching her like that. I told her that respecting someone also means not making a fool of them in front of others. She listened, nodded, even grabbed my hand across the table, and said, "I am sorry, my love, I did not think of it that way." And I, foolish again, softening up again like bread and coffee, believed her. The next day there was an excursion to a natural sinkhole. Guess who the guide was? Cody, the same Cody from the tanning lotion, now in a wetsuit and with the same smile. When he saw us arrive, he lit up like a Christmas tree. "Couple, what a pleasure. Today I am going to show you the most beautiful part of the area." Michelle laughed. Not her usual laugh, a new, high-pitched, girlish laugh. I clenched my jaw and grabbed the life jacket without answering. Throughout the entire excursion, she got close to Cody whenever she could. She asked him stupid questions that I knew she already knew the answers to. Is it very deep? Are there fish? Is the water cold? And he answered with that instructor voice that makes anyone who wants to feel special. On the bus ride back to the resort, an older lady, maybe in her 60s, white hair, kind face, sat next to me. Her name was Mrs. Rosa, from Chicago, a widow. She traveled alone because, according to her, she was too old to wait for company. She looked at me for a while without saying anything. Then, slowly, she said, "Young man, it is none of my business, but that guy from the natural sinkhole is making a lot of eyes at your wife. I already noticed, ma'am, and she is giving them right back." That really hurt. That a stranger saw it, that it was not just my imagination, that it was already so obvious that even a lady on the other side of the bus noticed it. "Thank you for telling me," I answered. "Do not thank me. I would have liked someone to tell my husband 40 years ago, before I found out on my own and worse." That night in the room, Michelle went to take a shower, singing. Listen to that. I had not heard her sing in the shower for years. She came out wrapped in a towel, sat on the bed next to me, and started caressing my arm as if she wanted to fix something with mere touch. She said sweet things to me. She told me she loved me. She told me the trip was being a dream. And then, mid-caress, she dropped something that did not sit right with me. "Brian, were you never curious about what it would be like with someone else?" I froze. I looked at her. She kept smiling, as if she had asked me if I wanted chicken or fish for tomorrow. "No," I told her, "never, seriously, not once in 15 years, not once." She laughed quietly, as if I were adorable for being so simple. "It is just that sometimes I do think about it. It is not that I do not love you. It is that I married very young. Sometimes I feel like I missed out on things." I did not answer. I pretended to be asleep, but I did not sleep. I stayed up all night with my eyes open, staring at the ceiling, listening to the air conditioning, thinking about how many times in recent months we had conversations that seemed normal, but were already full of clues that I had refused to read. Wednesday was when everything truly broke. We were eating in the resort's main restaurant with the large thatched roof, when a phone alarm went off, a specific alarm like a reminder. She almost knocked over her glass trying to turn it off. What was that? Nothing. An old alarm. For what, Brian? Leave me alone with your interrogations already. I will be right back. I am going to the bathroom. She got up so fast she dropped her napkin. I sat there watching her walk away, and something inside me, something old, something from when I was a kid on the ranch and knew when it was going to rain without needing to look at the sky, told me, get up and follow her. She did not go to the bathroom. I found her in the lobby by the stairs talking to Cody. Close, very close. He had a hand on her elbow. She had the other on his chest. When he saw me, Cody pulled away as if he had been shocked by electricity. Michelle turned her face toward me, and, let me tell you, in 15 years I had never seen that expression. It was not guilt, it was annoyance, as if I had ruined an important errand for her. "Are you following me?" she said in a low, aggressive voice. "I am looking at you. There is a difference. Let's go to the room now." We went up in silence. In the elevator, we did not look at each other. I felt my blood pounding in my ears, but on the outside, I was calm. There is a kind of calm that is not peace. It is the calm of someone who has already understood. It is the calm of someone who has already made a decision without even knowing what it is yet. When we entered the room, she stood in front of the window with her back to me. It took her about a minute to speak. "Brian, I am going to be honest with you. Tonight, I am going to spend the night with Cody." The silence that followed was not silence. It was as if someone had muted the world and nothing could be heard but my own heart. Slow, as if it knew that from here on out it would have to beat for a different life. "Are you telling me, or are you asking for my permission?" I finally said. She turned around. Her eyes were bright, but not from sadness, from determination, like someone who has already rehearsed this in front of the mirror. "I am telling you because I respect you. I could have done it behind your back, but I do not want to lie to you." How generous. Do not be sarcastic. Listen to me, it is one night, one. We are far away from everything. Nobody knows us here. It is not going to change anything between you and me. I love you. I love our house. I love the kids. I love our life, but I need this. I am 39 years old, and I have never been with another man besides you. It is my dream. It is the only thing I will ever ask of you in my life. Do not even think about ruining it. Do not even think about ruining it. That was the phrase. I will take that phrase to my grave. Not forgive me. Not help me understand myself. No, do not even think about ruining it. As if I were an obstacle between her and her joyride. I took a deep breath. 1, 2, 3 times, and then I did something not even I expected. I smiled. A small smile, almost sad, almost sweet. It is fine, Michelle. Go. She blinked. She did not expect that. She expected a fight. She expected tears. She expected me to beg her. Seriously? Seriously. If it is your dream, go, fulfill your dream. I am not your jailer. Her face lit up. I swear on my mother that it lit up. She walked toward me to hug me. I barely turned my face and the kiss landed on my cheek. She did not even notice the dodge. She was so excited about her permission that she did not notice I was already gone. Thank you, my love. You are the best. We will talk tomorrow. I promise. Take your time, I told her. Do not be in a rush to come back. She started getting ready. She put on a dress I had never seen her wear before. She did her makeup like she was going to a wedding. She put on that new perfume. When she was leaving at the door, she turned and told me, I love you, Brian. I really do. I told her, I loved you too. I do not know if she heard the past tense. If she heard it, she did not care. She closed the door. As soon as the door closed, I sat on the bed for about 10 minutes, without moving. I was not thinking. I was listening to the sounds of the resort, the distant music from the pool bar, the laughter of a couple in the hallway, the hum of the minibar. It was as if I needed to engrave all those sounds into my memory, because I knew those were the last sounds of the life I had had up until that moment. From tomorrow on, everything was going to sound different, not because the world changed, but because I was going to change forever. Then I stood up. I did not cry. I did not yell. I did not break anything. I took my suitcase out of the closet and began folding my clothes with a care I had never put into anything in my life. Every t-shirt, every sock, every belt, like someone packing for a new life, not for a trip. As I folded, I remembered the first time I packed a suitcase to move. I was 18 years old. I was leaving the ranch for the city to look for work. My mom had ironed all my shirts and arranged them with tissue paper between each one so they would not wrinkle. That night at the resort, I folded my clothes with that same care, as if I were saying goodbye to the person I had been for 15 years. I gathered my documents, my passport, my charger, my blood pressure pills. I left behind in the room the things she had given me, our anniversary watch, the leather wallet she gave me when I turned 40, the little picture frame I carried on trips with the photo of the kids, everything. Not out of revenge, out of hygiene. I did not want to take a single object back to Visalia that reminded me of what she had been when she loved me. Because that Michelle was already gone and I was not going to carry ghosts. I went down to the lobby, asked to speak with the manager. A tall lady in a tailored suit came down and introduced herself as MS Reynolds. I told her everything, without embellishments. I told her that her water activities instructor, the guy named Cody, had crossed a serious line with my wife and that my wife was currently with him in some room in the resort. The lady turned pale. Sir, we are so very sorry. What do you need? I need another room in a different wing. I do not want my wife to know where I am. If she asks, tell her I am no longer checked in. If she asks for me at the front desk, tell her you have no record. And I need one more favor. Tell me. I need the room charge to be put in her name. I paid for the entire trip from California. I have the receipt. I want to transfer the rest of the stay, the dinners, everything to her card. I am going to clear my card. MS. Reynolds looked me in the eyes for a good while. Then she nodded slowly. It can be done, sir. And let me tell you something. It is not protocol, but I am telling you this from one person to another. You did the right thing. She gave me a new key. I took my suitcase up to a room on the other side of the resort. A smaller one, without an ocean view, but clean and quiet. I sat on the bed and finally I let myself cry. Not much, maybe 10 minutes, just enough to let out 15 years. Then I washed my face, went down to the pool bar, and ordered a straight whiskey, my first in years. At 3 in the morning, I got her first message. Brian, are you asleep? I did not answer. At 6. I am back in the room. Where are you? I did not answer. At 7. Brian, do not mess around. Answer me. At 8. Are you serious? Did you leave, Brian? At 9. You are a coward. At 10. Forgive me, my love. Let's talk. At 11 in the morning, I was already at the Cancun airport waiting for my flight back home. I bought the ticket with my card. It cost nearly $500. It did not hurt me one bit. While waiting to board, I sat in one of those hard chairs facing the large window and watched the airplanes take off one after another. I thought about all the people on those planes, families returning from vacations, couples on their honeymoon, businessmen, and among them all, me, a 42-year-old man returning alone from a trip he had planned for 4 years to celebrate a love that no longer existed. I did not feel sorry for myself. I felt a strange sensation, almost relief, like when you finish paying off a very old debt, like when you finally leave the dentist's office after a long treatment. Pain, yes, but the good kind, the kind that brings closure. On the plane, I got the window seat. Next to me sat a man in his 50s wearing a hat who was coming from Cancun after visiting his daughter. He asked me if I was also on vacation. I told him I was heading back. He did not ask me anything else. Sometimes we know how to read another person's face without needing words. He offered me a lollipop from his bag. I said thank you, but no. He ate it in silence, looking out the window, and somehow that shared silence made me feel less lonely than any hug from the last 15 years. I arrived in California at night. The house was empty. Tyler was with his cousins in a nearby town, and Samantha had stayed at my sister Linda's house. I had the whole house to myself. I simply turned on the lights one by one, as if I were greeting each room. The living room, the dining room, the kitchen where Michelle had made enchiladas so many times, the kids' room, our room, the one that was now only going to be mine. I sat in the living room, turned on the TV without watching it, and stayed awake thinking until dawn about what I was going to do. I was not sad. I was determined. There is a huge difference between the two things, and many people never learn to distinguish them. The next morning, I went straight to the office of Mr. Brooks, a lawyer from Fresno that a buddy had recommended to me years ago when I once jokingly asked him what to do in these cases. I told him everything. I handed him the messages. I handed him the room receipt. I even handed him the receipt for the coral bikini that I found in Michelle's purse a month prior and had kept without knowing why. Mr. Brooks looked at me over his glasses and said, Brian, this is going to be clean. You have everything in your favor. I just need you not to falter. I will not falter, counselor. Michelle arrived the next day. I heard her open the front door with her key. I heard her walk through the patio. I heard her enter the living room where I was sitting with a yellow envelope on my lap. Brian, thank God, I thought. I handed her the envelope without getting up. What is this? Open it. She opened it. She saw the papers, her knees buckled, and she sat on the armchair across from me involuntarily. She looked at me with huge eyes. Brian, no, please, no. You told me it was just one night. I believed you. One single night was enough to show me who you are. It was a mistake, my love. I was confused. You told me it was fine. I told you to go. I did not tell you it was fine. There is a difference. She started crying. She was crying ugly, with her whole body. I did not move. I did not hug her. I did not say anything to her. 15 years ago, I would have run to comfort her. That morning in that living room, I discovered I had no comfort left to give her. And the kids? She asked between sobs. We will tell the kids the truth when they are ready. Not the pretty version, the truth. Tyler is already 14. He will understand. Samantha is younger, but she is not dumb either. I am not going to lie to my children to protect your image. Brian, please. 15 years. I respected those 15 years, Michelle. You threw them away in one night. Do not pin the blame on me. She left the house that same afternoon, taking 2 suitcases. She went to her mother's house in a nearby town. Months passed. The divorce was finalized without complications, just as Mr. Brooks said. I kept the house because I had paid for it alone with my salary from the plant for 12 years. She kept her car, her things, and made small child support payments for the kids while they lived with me. Tyler and Samantha decided to stay in Visalia. Tyler asked me once, just once, what had happened. I told him without details. He hugged me and said, "It is okay, Dad." And he never asked again. Cody, the guy from the resort, I found out later through a review I left online myself. that he got fired from his job. Ms. Reynolds kept her word. It was not the first guest who had complained. Michelle tried to come back twice. The first time, around 6 months in, she called me crying, telling me she regretted it, that life without me was horrible, that her mom treated her badly, that she felt alone. I told her I was very sorry, but there was no going back. The second time, almost a year later, she showed up at the house in person, unannounced. She rang the doorbell. I opened. She was thinner, more tired, with uncolored hair. She asked to talk. I led her onto the porch, but not into the house. Brian, I made the worst mistake of my life. Yes, there is nothing I can do. No, Michelle, not because I hate you, because I do not know you anymore. The woman I married would not have told me what you told me in that room. That woman no longer exists or never existed, and I had not realized. Either way, there is nowhere left to return to. She left crying. I stayed on the porch watching her car pull away and disappear down the street. Inside the house, Samantha called me for dinner. We had made enchiladas. Tyler was setting the table, and for the first time in a long time, I sat down to a peaceful dinner, without feeling like I was walking on eggshells. Today, 2 years later, my life is smaller, but it is mine. I still work at the packing plant. I was promoted to shift manager 8 months ago. I met a woman, Natalie, an elementary school teacher in a nearby town, also divorced with a 10-year-old daughter. We are taking it slow, no big promises, but when she speaks to me, she speaks sweetly. When I tell her I do not like something, she does not throw it back at me with sarcasm. When I ask her for respect, she gives it to me without me having to fight for it. And that, after 15 years of believing that love meant enduring, is like learning to breathe again. Comment. Hey everyone, this story really made me think about what we accept in our lives. I believe every one of you watching deserves real respect and honesty in a relationship. Setting clear boundaries isn't always easy, but it's one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. When someone crosses those boundaries, choosing yourself is an act of courage. Healing after deep hurt takes time, and that's completely okay. I want you to remember that your peace matters more than staying in a situation that slowly breaks you down. Taking responsibility for your own happiness can change everything. Be gentle with yourself during the healing process. You are stronger than you know, and better days are truly ahead. Thanks for being here with me today. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.